This is a question I've been asking a lot of other journalists, and we're going through this COVID-19 pandemic. We're all
Yeah.
sheltered in place. Mirin wants to get outside enough, and she can't. Although I'm enjoying
So bad.
the pictures you're posting on Twitter when you see a flower or something beautiful that you can appreciate. I appreciate it too. Um, how has this pandemic and I'm trying to work on something around this with other journalists and people working in sports. But how has this pandemic affected you and the job that you do? Has it at all? How has it affected you?
I know. My life was like really getting on planes and just going where the story goes. Like a lot of my friends would joke like, I saw on Twitter you're in New Orleans. What? Like when did you go? And I was like, "Oh, sorry, like I forgot to mention, because it's just like whatever, I'll just hop on a red eye. But yeah, I think the kind of things that I do, like the in-person interaction is so crucial because I'm not just studying what they're saying, I'm studying how they're saying it. So
Mm,
like the emotion, like these things that I can feel when I'm talking to them, these things that I can see, like little tendencies. Does this person's toe tap when they're getting nervous? Do their,
Hmm.
is their hair have a flecks of salt and pepper? And like it's just little things like that that really do make a big difference. Like when you're trying to get to know somebody, like there's no substitute for in-person interaction. And so it's been really hard for me because I can't do that right now. And I think also like, the good thing is I'm not a beat reporter where like my job is dependent on like covering games, but at the same time, like I got turned down for a pretty big story yesterday by an NBA player that I'm really upset about because
Mm.
I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, we're all in our houses. Like, come on. But now they're like, no, I don't want to deal with media during this. So now it's like, you thought
Mm.
hmm.
access was bad prior to Corona. Access is even worse during Corona. So
Hmm.
Interesting. Who's the player? Who's the player?
She
Who's the
I
can't
player?
can't,
say.
Come on,
She
come on, come
can't
on, come on,
say.
come on,
I
She
come on, come
can't,
on,
can't
come on.
say.
I
You can't
can't.
say. I'm not gonna let her
I'll
do
just tell
that.
you I'm pretty disappointed.
Off mic.
And,
Off mic. Off
No.
off,
mic. Off mic.
off mic.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Look,
I
you see how he's like Patrick Beverly because he's just trying to pester
Yo,
you
I'm
and wear
here.
you
I'm
down.
So,
here today, man.
but he doesn't understand. I'm like Patrick Beverly too, so I'm not cracking. Um,
Oh, there we go. I like
I
that.
like that a lot.
Good response, Marin. That was an excellent. That was an excellent response. I mean, I'm disappointed that story couldn't come about. Um,
For real.
you recently did a feature that I wanted to get into because I thought it was fantastic about American players overseas and how they are dealing with the coronavirus. And I thought it was just really great in some of the challenges they face. Bryan and I both know a player who plays in Italy, and he's dealing with that. He's on lockdown overseas. I actually have been reaching out to talk to him, but haven't been able to get in contact with him. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, what gave you the idea to do this? I mean, I think it's good. I think people are forgetting about how some athletes outside this country are dealing with it. So I thought it was great that you brought it up. What inspired you to do the story and pitch it to do it?
Yeah, I think like when you have a national event, like a newsworthy event, like you're trying to like as a features writer, you have to ask yourself like, what is everybody else doing and how can I be different? And so I was seeing like
Yes.
the same story like over and over again, like how is superstar millionaire coping in his $1 million home, like which is really different than like, oh my God, like these athletes trapped abroad. So I was thinking like, God, what it must be like to be fearful in Italy. I'm scared in LA, but that's nothing compared to like Italy or Spain or all these places. And I was kind of putting the pieces together and I thought I was just going to focus on Dearica Hamby because I had did that story on the Aces
Mm-hmm.
last year. Like I spent like a week with the team on the road. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to do the story on her. But then one of my editors, Elliot, had the really smart idea. He's like, you should just talk to like 6 different athletes and do like little vignettes of their experiences. And it was such a brilliant idea because it allowed me to like pivot geographically, right? It wasn't just the Italian experience, it was, the Spain experience.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I just, you want to do your part, you want to contribute when there's something like that. So I was just glad to like be part of the conversation.
Yeah, it was good to hear all
How
those different experiences for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. How did these sort of conversations come about? And could you just tell us in detail, like, just what was it like getting to talk to them as all this was going on? What were those conversations like beyond, what we could just read in the story and things of that nature? Just, were they difficult? Were they hard to get together with them or stuff like that?
It was definitely hard to get. And then there was a lot of like there was a lot of difficulties post interview. Like the agents would call me and be like, I didn't know my client did this, I'm concerned that the team is going to cut him, and one guy in particular, because they can do that to Americans like for anything, right? And so they were just all fearful that like by talking they would lose their jobs or not get paid or whatever, not get groceries. And so there ended up being a lot of like back and forth after, like, is so and so's comments derogatory towards the government, and what if they get on a no-fly list? Like there was just a lot of scary conversations that happened actually after I did the reporting. But I think the people that I talked to were they really opened up, and they appreciated that I wasn't trying to write like, oh, look at this traumatic experience. It's more just like, look, it's a really human thing. And like, imagine what these people are going through, because Americans, we're so like focused on ourselves 24/7, but, we really, and we really need to have a global perspective on things.